In a quiet government school nestled in a small Indian village, there was a boy named Arjun. He always sat on the last bench, not because he was lazy, but because he was afraid. Afraid of being laughed at, afraid of answering questions wrong, afraid of trying. Arjun was the kind of student most teachers overlooked. His uniform was always a little dusty, and his notebooks filled with doodles instead of notes. He rarely raised his hand in class, and when he did, it was usually to scratch his head in confusion. But what no one saw was what he did after school. Every day, after finishing his chores, feeding his family's goats, collecting water, and helping his mother cook, Arjun would sit under a neem tree with borrowed books. He would read and read and dream. His dream? To become a scientist. Not for fame, not for money, but because, as he once told his younger sister, "I want to solve problems, the kind that stop people like us from dreaming." One day, a new teacher joined the school, Mr. Roy, young, energetic, and curious. During his first class, he asked a question about gravity. The class fell silent. Eyes dropped to the floor. Arjun, sitting in his usual corner, slowly raised his hand. A wave of surprise swept through the room. "Yes," Mr. Roy said. Arjun stood up and spoke. His voice trembled, but his answer was correct, and far more detailed than expected. "Very good," Mr. Roy smiled. "How did you know that?" Arjun looked down and mumbled, "I read it. In a book." From that day, Mr. Roy paid closer attention to Arjun. He began staying after class, giving him extra assignments, encouraging him to ask more questions. The other students started noticing. The last bencher was smart. Some mocked him, others ignored him. But Arjun didn't care. For the first time in his life, someone believed in him, and that belief became fuel. Years passed. Arjun completed school, then college. He won a national science fair with a low-cost water purification model, something he'd once tried to build in his village using plastic bottles and charcoal. He was invited to speak at TEDx events, mentored other village students, and eventually became a scientist at ISRO. One day, a journalist asked him, "What was your turning point?" Arjun smiled and said, "A teacher who didn't look at where I sat, but at what I thought." Moral of the story: never judge someone by where they start. A single spark of belief can ignite a lifetime of success.